Oh, this is what
Live
I've
on
never
Facebook.
seen it from this
Yeah,
end.
Melissa's never seen me set it all up
No, I've always been on the
before.
other end, being annoyed why it's taking so long.
Hi, everybody at the What's on It Elephant and Castle Facebook page. Today, me and Mel are together with a virtual background because I've just moved into a place and it's not decorated very nice.
It's a
mess. It's not a mess. And joining us is Krystal Stephens. Krystal, thank you ever so much for joining us.
My pleasure, my pleasure, my pleasure.
Mel, we can't see you very well.
Sorry, I should move it.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. I'm good. I'm doing good.
Yeah. Have you, with all this, the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 stuff, it's getting a little bit kind of crazy out there, isn't it?
It is, because I'm still out there in the fitness world, I'm working within a gym capacity. Everything is like very strict, is very stick to the books, you know, you gotta be like, I almost feel like as if I'm a police officer sometimes when I'm walking around the gym, like, have you wiped down your equipment? Have you done this? It's just like, you know, sometimes just going to the gym and just kind of be relaxed and just be at ease, but you've got so much other things to worry about while you're doing your workout. So during my shift, I just try and prepare the gym as much as possible so people don't have to worry. They actively see me cleaning, you know, they see me actually paying attention to their needs, you know, and that's the main thing because everyone's got a lot of worry and we're all in different places. You know, some of us, you know, kind of headstrong, you know, we can get through it, and others are quite soft and sensitive, you know, and it's doing a lot with mental health as well, you know, which I find, and staying active definitely, you know, really does aid with mental health. And that's why I like being in the field that I am, because it really is down to what you put into the people that you meet. They really take the essence from you as a PT or as a fitness instructor. They take something away, you know, they remember you for that little ism that you have. So I just try to make everybody happy, you know, it's kind of hard, but yeah.
I've turned off our virtual background because it was looking a bit weird.
Oh.
But Krystal, you've worked with the Elephant and Castle community for over a year now. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved in the fitness industry and dancing, and just give us a rundown of how you got to where you are?
I've been dancing pretty much from like the age of 8, 7 even, and I started as a country dancer, so I was just taking up little extra classes at school. And then from there, it kind of just went into like school musicals, choirs. And then I kind of just knew that I want to be this performer. I've got something I want to show the world what I can do. Then I went to college and I studied performing arts there for 3 years. And then from there, it was just kind of like, do you want to go the acting or the dancing way? So I took the dancing way and I studied African and Caribbean contextual style studies with IRE Theatre, which is in partnership with London Metropolitan University. So I was one of the first set of young people to do this course. So it's either a miss or a not, but it's still running until today. So I'm proud to say that, like, we're literally the pioneers of that course. From there, it was just like Zumba kind of came in, and it's just like, oh, I kind of like, you know, kind of showing people that, you know, there's so much more to dancing, and it had the fitness element to it. And then I had my daughter, and then I kind of was like, oh, this belly, what am I going to do about it? I'm going to do about this belly. I want to make a change. And like, I think the big turning point for me at that point was when I went to see a GP. He said to me, your body will never, ever be the same. I said, okay, you don't know me, because I like to push the boundaries. So I was just like, I'm going to be determined to make that change, because there's so many women that will just listen to that and just be like, you know what, this is me, and settle with that. I wanted to make that difference. And it took me a year to get my abs looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I was just like, yeah, I got it. And that's where the PT came in. It's just like, there's so much more to just get into the body shape you want. There's a mental kind of cycle to this as well. And that's the side that I'm more interested in when it comes to fitness, is how it makes you feel spiritually and emotionally. You've got so much people in the gym that are working out, and they're working out because their mind is just erratic. It's all over the place, you know, and they're overexerting their body, you know, they're not eating right. And it's like, when you tackle that small issue that's within the mind, it's like their whole workout changes. They don't need to be in the gym so much, you know, they're getting more sleep, you know, they're adding more water to their diet. And I think that's the pleasure that I have in meeting people every day. The fitness industry, you meet different people every day, different walks of life, different ages. You know, the most inspiring people for me is the elderly, because they've got some zazz. They've got some, they're just like, they're going for it, you know, if they're going left with conviction, and they're gonna make it no matter what. And it makes me as a younger person take that on board, that, you know, I've got so much more years that I can enriching people and what I want to do. It's just help people, you know, have that safe haven, that K-Steps is that place I can be myself. I'm not going to go there to reach this ultimate summer body, or I'm trying to look like, you know, a bodybuilder. I just want to go there to build my mind, body, and soul. And that's what I'm truly about. If your mental state is not 100%, you're not going to be 100% in anything else. And being active plays a big part in that. And I just think I'm that little voice in the head, you know, where you have a goal and you just like, oh, I need to do this. But I'm literally that voice in person, that yes, we're going to do this and we're going to get through this, and I will help you get through your goals no matter what. And I've built so many relationships. I've literally adopted so many grandparents, and I've got aunties and uncles, you know, and that relationship to me is more important than what money they can give me, or what they can give me back monetary wise. You know, it's not for me, you know. If I could just live a normal life comfortably, that's enough for me. But if I'm giving more for somebody to could walk into their family home and their family can recognize that spark in their eyes, there's something different about you. I've been doing some dancing that I didn't know I could do, and you know, it was a free class, you know, and that's why I think Community Club is such a gem in the community. It's a hidden gem, and I feel that there needs to be so much more kind of marketing around it, so people know that this is a safe place. You know, it has so many varieties of different things you can do. You know, and the way that it's been situated, literally in the heart of Elephant and Castle. You know, you get people traveling from all different parts of London in that part as well. I can say I've had random people just walking on my class, you know, they've been in their business clothes and they just, I'm like, come in, literally come in, just doing it all at the side, come in, you know, and it's just like, wow, I didn't know I could actually do this, because it's community based, it's not fitness class based, so it's got more of that lax environment, and that's what Community Hub caters for, and that's why I love being part of it. You know, once I did my first class for them, they just couldn't get rid of me. I had to stay.
Yeah. Part of me wants to ask you to be my personal trainer.
Me too.
How do I sign up? What is it? What do I do? I'm looking for one, and here we are. Kismet.
We can discuss this after this Zoom. I'm here, I'm ready, and then we can discuss that. And that's my thing. You know, I literally pick up clients like all the time. Sometimes I'm taking clients and I was like, I don't know where I'm fitting in, but I will find somewhere for you. You know, and I have to be, it's being realistic with your clients at the end of the day, and the people that you're meeting. You know, I'm not selling you a dream, you know, like I'm not selling you the 6 amazing abs that you can get in 7 days. It's just not going to happen here. You know, what will happen in those 7 days, you'll start to understand what makes you tick and what you don't like about yourself, and how you can make that better so you can love that about yourself. You know, there's certain things that people dislike about themselves, and it's that very thing that they need to turn inwards and love about them that's going to make you so much whole. And I feel like I just see those things in people, and you know, I don't know, I feel like that's the gift that I've been given, that I can just pull that out, people that I can see what it is I can do to help you. You know, and sometimes it's not exercise, sometimes it's just somebody listening. You know, it's just having in that air. And that's why teaching every week online is become like part of my breathing. Right. I have to be online in these days because people are situated me into their day-to-day, and they look forward to that energy outburst, meeting other people online. You know, sometimes people are not meeting their friends or their family, so to see people that you have seen in the past previously online, you know, you're still on your same goals. You know, I'm making sure we're all sticking together, and I make sure I do that by holding them. I have a WhatsApp group, and we talk about all kinds of stuff in there. You know, sometimes it's just so on the other side of dance and fitness. Sometimes it's about the grandchildren. Sometimes it's about there's an incident. You know, some people just want to talk about it. And I think if people had more of these outlets where it didn't have the context of professional, and it's like they are professional, but could come at them more on a personal level. I think we'll get so much more from our community and understand what really we can do to help them. And I just find that I have a tight network of people that are like, Krystal's just here, and that's it for me. You know, I just want to leave a good impression in people's lives. You know, and that's the whole point of being a personal trainer, somebody with fitness. You want to make change, permanent change in someone's life for the greater good. You know, it's not just for that moment in time, for those 3 months you take them as a client. You know, they need to remember the stuff that you've taught them and what that feeling. You know, I'm a big person that goes on feeling and how did that exercise make you feel when you did it? Because sometimes when I've been training people and I'm doing exercise with them, they've just been like, I've never ever been able to do a burpee. I hate it. And the way you break it down on like such a on layman's term, even just of their own body, because there's so many different variations and people just think that's the only way, you know, and you could break it down and make it easy. And in the mind is getting more stronger in the terms that I didn't do this, you know, and I'm building up, and you're building up your mental strength and you're also building your body at the same time. That's what's so important for me, is for you to believe in yourself. Because I do.
You've talked about so much, and I know there's so many different subjects from what you've just spoken about in this last couple of minutes. But what I'm really interested in right now is that, can we, like, you know how there's so much pressure today from marketing and media and Instagram on how we should look, you know, the ideal physical body that we should be in. And it puts a lot of pressure on people. And I know for me, because I'm an ex-professional athlete, and when I stopped playing the sport that I loved, I didn't do anything for a long time. And I'm only just starting to get into it, really because of a sense of self-care rather than what the pressures of what I need to be looked at in society. How do you balance that with the pressures of society to people actually having some self-love and self-care for themselves?
Firstly, what I say to my clients, delete all those accounts, delete them, because these people, they don't even believe in themselves. If you had a conversation, they are going to be talking from a script that they practiced in their head for many times when people have coached them. Most of the times, those people they struggle to sleep at night because they have so much reason what they need to keep up for the next appearance. Now, when you're chasing up the appearance, that's playing a big toll on your mental health. I would rather choose good sleep over trying to prove everything to the world. So the way that I put out on social media and so forth, I be myself. 100% be myself. I show where I've got stretch marks. I show where sometimes where I haven't got abs no more. I show where I might be eating junk food, because at the end of the day, I'm a human being. You know, I'm not perfect at the end of the day. I don't train all the time. I'm not always in a strict regime. Certain times, you know, sometimes my life is scattered, but I do remain with the main focus goals in my life, which is, you know, maintaining the fact that I do have a clientele base, my family life as well. But I think when it comes to body image, do not look at celebrities. Don't look at influencers that you can actually see within your eyes that they've had work done to them, because they are selling a business. They're marketing a product. At the end of the day, you're not a product. You know, you're a beautiful human being that's been put on this earth to bless with your essence, and you're trying to mimic somebody that you don't need to be. Why do we need so many Kim Kardashian, so many Beyonces, you know? So we just don't need it. You know, there's one of them, that's enough. And I think when you turn more into your inner beauty and you start to understand that there's so much more to yourself than what society terms as beautiful, you know, you start to have a force within yourself that you become reckoned with. You know, you start to play around with your image, you start to feel confident, you know, you might start wearing brighter colors. And that all stems to where your foundation is at. So if you've got a good foundation where your mental health can rejuvenate, and there's people around you that's doing the same thing as well, when you step out there into the world, you start to feel, you know, I can command the things that I want in my life, you know, because inside you're more stronger. And that's what I cater for. You know, even myself, I've had times where I've battled with my own image as well. And I would say that being as a Black woman and living in London as well, that there was a sort of predominant look where women wear weaves and, you know, they might have contact lenses and to just try to fit in. And for me, when I started to find, when I got into my PT and work, it was like I started to realize these things are starting to drop away from me because I'm helping people to figure out themselves, and I'm figuring out myself as well. And I decided to cut all my hair off and just go natural one day. And literally from that moment, I would say like the power that came within me, I made it a mission that I am going to teach and show women in particular, I shouldn't even say that, like show people just show people that their true self is beautiful, you know, and there are so many people out there that admire you, they just haven't told you, you know. They might be a bit too shy to tell you, but you have admirers, you know. There's people that might, I love her smile, you know, I like the way she talks, you know, and these are the things that help you become a confident individual, you know. And I just find that social media plays a lot on people's mental health, you know, for the wrong. But I do notice there's been a big fluctuation of celebrities talking on themselves like, this is what I attach to myself. This is not me. I'm not airing this. I just see it as that there needs to be more awareness, especially for young people as well, because they're taking their lives because they feel that they're not complete. And that's sad because I have a daughter and she's 9 years old. And this is why I really do love working in the community, because I would love somebody in the community to ever turn around to my daughter if she ever felt down within herself, to uplift her. So I always try to put that positive energy out there, you know, and try to reciprocate it back. Social media, if you're trying to get your mental health together, scrap the celebrities pages, you know, start from scratch, start following people that breathe, you know, yoga, people that take pictures of sunset, you know, the sound of water, return back to nature, you know, if it means taking a walk early in the morning, you know, when London's quiet. These things play a lot on making you come back to yourself, and it's so simple. And I know it's difficult in the pandemic as well, but there's still ways that you can still take care of that. You know, you can still take a walk, you know, on the back roads, you know, away from the public, you know, making sure you're keeping your 2 meters distance and so forth. But, you know, I just think evidently social media has played a lot on a lot of people's mental health, and it can be quite damaging, especially to young minds, you know.
I think it just perpetuates the idea that we have to compare ourselves to one another. Like there seems to be no room for honoring your own sacred body. At least this has been my journey too. I'm like, finally year 38, I'm like, oh, wait a second. Maybe my body is sacred just as it is, and learning how to nourish her in ways that might not be the way you have to nourish you or you nourish you, but what works for me. And so in the beginning, when you talked about when the doctor was like, oh, you're never getting it back, and you're like, I'll show you, and here we go. Like you owned your own expert of your own body. And I think that's the message we need to keep sending out to people. Like nobody knows ourselves, our bodies, our needs, our wants, our trauma, all the things better than we do. So why don't we, and this, when I hear you talk about community, that's the essence of it. We just like, hey, this is what you need. You're walking the walk, I think is what I'm getting to too, right? Is like, we can all be examples for each other and not have to be shiny examples all the time. You can be like, today I'm eating a bunch of chips and that's just what's going to happen. And it's all right, which was a reality for the last week of my life. And that's okay, here I am. But yeah, so I appreciate that. And I don't think I have a question. I'm just talking really, but the sacredness of our bodies and our own experience.
You know, that's what it's down to, just owning your body and just getting to know yourself. I think we spend a lot of our time trying to fit into categories and boxes and tick this and this title and that title. And we're meant to be free flowing. When we was in the room, we was free flowing. There was no responsibilities. Why do we not flow like that in our normal day-to-day lives? And this is what I love with dance, and particularly with Dancebeatz as well, because I've taken away the tradition of your normal dance class of 1, 2, 3, follow me. With the dance classes, I'm doing my dance move, but I know you might have a dance move in there that you might want to pop in there, pop in your dance move. And if I'm going right and you want to go left with conviction, honey, because that's what it's about. I want you to earn them. And I've started to realize, before we actually went into lockdown, I started to have more men come into my class as well, which was surprising because it's been a hard job to get guys into group exercise classes. I know there must be a lot of instructors that have this issue, but I think men feel like it's more feminine, and that's just a lie. It's just a lie. You know, these places are open for you to be yourselves, you know, and men's mental health in particular, I feel that it is shunned a certain way. They can't talk about certain things. They have to be looked at like macho and strong all the time. And no, they don't need to be that. They can cry and they can be sensitive. And this makes you a whole. I feel as an individual, you can't express all those emotions at one time, or you cannot you can't articulate your emotions, all your emotions that you're going through. You need to go back to the drawing board, you know, you need to heal. You know, you as a human being are able to put your emotions out there, whether it is you want to cry or you want to be angry, have your reasons behind why you're angry, know how to articulate that in the right way. And that all goes down to your mental health. You know, are you relaxing enough? What are the things that are irritating you? You know, these play a lot to why people stop doing exercise, and as to why they do start exercise, or why they don't active, or why they walk less and why they don't. But I always say to people that I meet, just start walking. You know, that just start walking. You know, it started from crawling, just start walking, and from there, you know, look at your surroundings. You know, take beauty in what's around you. You know, because we live in London, and I always think to myself, we live in one of the richest cities, and we don't visit these landmarks that we live amongst, and people fly and spend big money to see these things. Why don't we go and explore the beauties of where we're from? We just stay in our bus lane, in our tubes, and with that busy lifestyle. You know, there's beautiful countryside in the UK, you know, that I feel that should be expressed more.
I think we stay not only like in our own areas, but we stay in self, you know, and you were talking about the struggles that men seem to have with dance, and dance is something that I think I really want to talk to you about in your dance techniques and styles. But before we get into that, really the essence of community and how you built your community around you to support you, but also how, you know, I tended to go through life thinking that I could solve all my own problems. I was taught that. I was taught that I could solve all my own problems, never ask for help, and never cry, because real men don't act like that. And real men are So it took for me to go through some experiences that were, you know, not pleasant, for me to eventually recognize that I needed other men around me who'd been through similar life challenges and life experiences, so that we could then support one another to be able to go to a yoga class or a meditation class, things that I would never, ever dream of going to, you know. And now what I even envision, you know, community around me to be able to bring, you know, men to be able to go to a dance class together, you know, not because of anything that's masculine and feminine, but because it's fun, it's healthy, it's just good to do. And so your journey really basically from, you know, the time that, you know, maybe that the doctor told you that you're never going to be the same, to how did community support you? And then how now do you try to help people build community around themselves?
At that time, I was very gutted, and there was a mother and baby kind of community center in my area at the time. I lived in Bromley area, and I just went there, and I joined this cookery class, and there was a creche. So this is my only time that I really have like free time with my daughter. So it's 2 hours, and I got to learn all different recipes. And during that time, I started to realize I really, really do like cooking. Not that I never cook every day, but I really, really like cooking. And I met other mums, you know, that was like, oh, I don't have friends, you know, I just moved to this area, you know, and I just find that little community group there done so much for myself, because through them, I was able to get my Zumba qualification. So, you know, it was fun through a scheme that was there, you know, they were just targeting anybody that wants to have a life change. And this is how I'm here. So the community gave me something which I can give back potentially on a different level, on a different span as well. I just find that there's not enough awareness on community space that helps these different sort of targeted groups. I thought if there was more awareness on it, I feel that we'll have a lot of people that wouldn't be struggling on their own, you know, because I think what it goes down to as well, there's a bit of pride in this as well, you know, which I do find with people, they just, I can do this, you know, I don't go through problems, I can fix everything, you know, like you said, because I've come across a lot of people like that, but that's your upbringing at the end of the day, and it takes a lot to you know, start again from scratch in your mind, you know, and it's being around people again, community spaces, you know, you've got different sort of professionals in those spaces as well, you know, it's not just only to be active, you know, they have good connects for different charities and different bodies, you know, so I just find that community space does help the people that are there, especially if they really do know what they provide, you know, but I just think it's down to if they know if it's in their area.
Yeah, it's awareness around what's like, I think there's so many things available, but people like, I think, you know, we can go on social media and we'll know like what celebrity is having what baby with what other person and what the baby's wearing, but we don't know about a cooking class down the street from us that is for, like, it just seems there's so much misinformation around or the priorities around what's important have been so shifted around this information we think we need to know, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna, can I?
You,
No,
you
go
know,
on.
you asked.
No, go.
Okay, I want to get into dance now because we had Lexi on a couple of weeks ago who does some dance at the community too as a male dancer, and we talked about the kind of, you know, how, you know, his journey, but also like, you know, reading your profile about your infusion of dance, and I noticed the flags behind you. I recognized the Jamaican flag and I think a Nigerian flag.
So that's Guyana, because you can't, it's red.
Oh, okay.
Just there. This is South America and Nigeria. So
Okay.
I'm a mixture. You know, I like to, me and my brother have come up with for a terminology for us, and they're called Nigerians because they're up and coming. There's a few of us, you know, there's a little community of us who are mixed. But with that being said, I would say the influence of both of my cultures has played a big role in my love for dance as well. You know, from family events to, you know, even just celebrating lost ones as well, celebrating happiness, you know, celebrating with uplifting, you know, and it's not crying and it's more of upbeat stuff, you know, for long periods of times, you know, and from there, like when I was small, it was, I just want to show this to people, you know, people need to see this kind of energy, and I just feel, if you've been in one of my classes, I know I probably have some of my members watching, some of the ladies, they just know when I get into my dance movement, it's just like, yeah, it's all about you, all your muscles with you. You know, you start to discover different muscles that you didn't even have. But I would say how I mix my movement is the traditional base of Western African dance, and with my fusion of the background that I have, which is hip hop, I have contemporary, I have a bit of ballet in there, tap, we have lyrical as well. So bits of fusion, I just kind of put them all together in one and mix them all in the pot. And what I did first, I trialed the class first to see what kind of movements that people did like. And a lot of the people in the classes, they like a lot of the booty shaking movements, you know, they like some of the bold movements, and I see that, and I like to pull out your character. I'm like, yeah, give it to me, yeah. And I get such a good response from them because I'll be your big hype lady, basically. I'm not even an instructor, I'm a hype lady, put it that way. I'm the hype lady that gets the calories burning. And like from the start of teaching the class, I would just be smiling. I don't know how I do it, but I just be smiling from ear to ear all the time. I'll be dripping, you know, and I'm back in it. And I think it's the energy from the people that I'm teaching. And I feel teaching online, I would lose that. But you just see their little face pop on the camera, hi Krystal. And I'm like, yeah, you're here for me. And then when I'm seeing more of them pop up on the screen, it's building up my confidence as an instructor. Like, you said no pandemic can stop you from dancing. You're gonna dance no matter what. And that's made me say, I'm changing my living room around. this needs to go and this needs to be over here because I need to cater for you. And the more I put into the online classes, like getting better cameras, getting lighting, you know, I've got more people coming in because they started to see the qualities change. I started to learn how Zoom works and how to make sure they hear me properly. And I've got a PA system where I have a microphone here, so they still have that kind of, you know, that instructor kind of feel. To be fair, I just can't wait to get in the studio and teach all of the members from Community Hub in a space where they're safe. It does seem like a distant hope, but you know, I'm putting it out there that it can happen. You know, there's a lots of large spaces out there in London, you know, and we can do 2 meter distances in 2 acres. I don't mind, and I will ski from the other side. But I just want to be in that space just to see them again, and you know, I know I can't hug them. I always send virtual hugs to them, but I really am about making sure all the participants that come into my class, they know that I'm actually here for them. And they know within the movement as well. Like some of them say, I can't do that movement. I said, do what you can do, because I might even take that move and add it in next week, you know, and it's about making them feel confident in what they're doing as well, because no one's ever told you that you look good at what you're doing, or I'm going to tell you look good at what you're doing, you know. And yes, it is true, because I've been dancing for how many years, and yes, I've got off a qualification. So it's like, well, yeah, it must be then, you know, and you leave that thought in your head, and then you want to go home and show your grandchildren what you've learned, and that's what it's about for me. You know, you feeling great, you know. And now it's been 9 months since we've been in the pandemic, right? And I find in this time, you know, it's easy to be negative at this time frame. Very, very easy, because I find my time where I've been slightly negative as well. But it's difficult because my daughter literally is like a ball of sunshine. Is just never unhappy. She's just like, Mommy, let's do this. And she gives me that life to continue to keep going. And I want to give that to the people that believe in me also as well. And by putting in dance in a way that you don't have to feel that you're really professional, or you're getting watched, or you know, people are looking at your body shape or your age or your gender at that, or your sexuality, you know, just be you. This space it's a big canvas, you know, and I want all backgrounds to make Dancebeatz what it is. It could never ever be what it is without the people that I start with. And some of them have followed me from my previous jobs. So they've seen the growth in how the class has changed. You know, sometimes I'm asking them, what song do you want to dance to next week? You know, because it's not about me. I've danced to millions of songs, you know, I've danced to so many live musicians, and tell me what you want to dance to. You know, let me research it. You know, if I can find a fast BPM that goes with the sort of choreography, I'll put it in there. And I think having that implementation from them and then putting it within the class, I find that that's why they keep coming as well. You know, and Community Hub has done a lot for them, and I don't really think they really know how much they have done for them by just giving them the play, the space, and the platform. You know, they were literally gutted, you know, when I said I don't know if how the classes are going, and then when Diana did suggest to go online, I was just like, online? I've never taught online. And then I started watching other instructors, and I had to try and build my own confidence. How am I going to look in the camera? You know, are they going to see my movement? You know, I was sticking my webcam in little pieces of the corner in my living room so they could see me in a certain way. It took a little while to get to where I am now. But with that growth, it just shows them how much I am about them. You know, it's really not about me no more. You know, I've done with the performing that I can do. You know, I just want to help people. You know, I just see it as I'm the place where the doctor sends you before they give you medication. You know, and my duty is to make sure that you don't ever go back to the GP or that way. My duty is that you get enough confidence and enough knowledge within yourself that you say, you know, I will never ever end up going back there. The GP is not going to tell me I need this painkiller for this pain. No, I can manage myself, and that's what it's about. You know, I find sometimes when you get told certain things, you just believe what you've been told by that professional, And I feel like, especially today, I feel, especially when it comes to medical stuff, I feel that professionals should be a bit more open-minded when they're delivering their diagnosis on a client, instead of just putting them straight for medication. Maybe you need more sleep so your body can repair. You need this, something. They just don't. They don't need it, to a degree. And I say that because my own mother, she's got osteoarthritis, and this is another reason why I became a PT as well, because I just saw that she's always in pain all the time, and that breaks my heart. Even to think about it, like I almost feel like it's going to bring like a whole feeling of emotion, because I was very young when she got diagnosed with it, and we lived on a third floor flat and there was no lifts. So me and my brother had to do quite a lot for her. And I just said, I'm going to make it my part to make sure that you're going to be able to walk properly. I can say today, my mum is not on no painkillers at all. She has no walking stick, no crutches at all. She might get odd pain here and there, but she just gives it a little rub, or she uses like a little massage stick kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I made sure that I invested that in her, because I cannot go out there and help people without helping my own mother. And I see my mum in a lot of my clients. That's why I have the passion that I do have, because it does change. You do see that change in the mental health, from that downward slant, to that the cheekbones are so high.
I think that the statistic is like loneliness kills more people than it's the highest rate of death amongst people. And when you know that that's a statistic, and especially with the pandemic, which is kind of like almost convincing us that everyone's a threat and we need to stay apart, and it's really the impacts of our mental health seems so like counterintuitive. Like what we need at this time more is connection, is community, is like knowing that your mom doesn't have to suffer this pain alone, that she can find other ways that are not from like a white coat telling her what pills to take, that she can like get connected with her own body, or call on her daughter and her son to like build this kind of thing in. And it seems like when we know that loneliness is the number one killer, we know the prescription. We know what to do about it.
Definitely. Loneliness is something that is very dear to my heart, because we live in such a busy city, and there's people that are just by themselves, and it saddens me. It really does sadden me, and I feel with that it judged a certain way, because you could be a young person and people just expect you to just have friends and that you fit in, and that you can just get on with it. You could be somebody that has moved from a different area to a place to accommodate for your health needs, but you don't know nobody around you. Now, on top of your health needs, you've got to deal with the fact that you're actually by yourself. Who do I turn to? See places like community hub, open spaces, come in and have a cup of tea and see what you might like. For me, I make it my duty to make sure that anybody that came through those doors, that they felt comfortable. So that girl that dances, that was a lot that Diana used to get. She dances a lot, she's got a lot of energy. Yeah. Like, come in, have a cup of tea, tea, coffee's over there, you don't have to dance. You can watch, you can come with the music. And that's why that class was really successful, because a lot of the people just like the music, And there was one lady in particular, if anybody from Elephant Castle is watching, they would know this young lady. I'm not going to say her name, but they do know her. She literally, I thought she worked for the shopping centre, but she literally just checks in on everybody in the centre. And I become really fond of her, because she became an asset to that class. She's like, oh, there's a lady down there. She just sits there, have a cup of tea. Bring her. Let her have a cup of tea with you in here. You're not cold. You're walking up and down. Have a seat. And that, for me, it was more targeting that togetherness than I just want people to just come and dance in the session. So when I'm saying to Diana, I had 15 people dancing, but I had 10 people watching. And she's just like, oh, that's amazing. And that's what it's about. It's just making everybody feel in the community they can be part of it. Because sometimes you'll just see us dancing and you're like, what's going on every day? I want to know. Am I allowed to go in? And you'll just see me from far, like, come in, take a seat in the middle of the class. And I just try to make sure that nobody in that class felt out of place, and that they could bring their friends, you know, from any background. I also had 2 ladies in my class that were deaf as well. And for me as an instructor, I've never ever come across that. So, and I met them at the community hub. And with these 2 ladies, I always made them stand in front of me. Then I realized that they heard the vibration of the music and they feel it. So then I started choosing more African-based music that has deeper bass tones so that they can feel it as well. And they would go for it, you know. And then when I, like, what I used to do with the movement, I used to like add my hands and I used to tap body parts as well so they can get the rhythm that way. So that took my learning to another place, you know. And it was about being open-minded once again. Being diverse. That's what it is, being diverse and being, you know, taking yourself out of, it's being unconscious bias. You know, some of us do that, you know, and I did some training on that with my workplace a few months ago, and it opened my eyes to a whole different spectrum of life. It's just like, I didn't know I did that, you know. So sometimes I really rethink certain things, you know, and unless you're training it, you will understand, you know. And I think people should be more open-minded to taking on courses like that, you know, because you just don't know that you're doing these things, you know, and you could be adding more fuel to the fire than anything.
Right.
Well,
So it's in recognition of Black History Month in October here in London, and you know, the 2 flags behind you, they obviously mean a lot to you. How important is it to you to recognize it, to have those flags behind you, and what does this month mean to you? Can you explain, as we're kind of running out of time? But
no pressure.
Yeah.
My backgrounds are very important to me. I would say, being Guyanese and Nigerian, there's a big difference culturally down the middle. I would say my father's side is much stricter than my mother's side, and going to a West African father telling him that you want to be a choreographer, that's not exactly the job title they want to hear you say. They want to hear you say lawyer, dentist, and so forth. And that is just not me. I'm not the child that's going to sit in a lecture room. I'm just, no, it wasn't for me. So it took a lot of proving to him, you know. And I think with that as well, I'm proud to say that from the West African side, he pushed me in the sense of that, you know, I have to always make sure academically that I'm top notch on that side. And with my mum's side, they're more creative and they're all about arts, singers, musicians. So infusing that all together, you know, it's just made me this kind of crazy dance teacher, PT, all in one. I want to help people. It means a lot to me to represent my culture, especially today as well, especially with everything that's happening in the world as well, and amongst segregation, with Black people against Black and white people. I just find that it's a lack of understanding that's behind it, and we have all the knowledge within our mobile phones, and if you want to take it upon yourself to find that information, do that. But I do find there's a lot of ignorance as well. We can't hold people accountable for things that they did not do, you know, and this is what people need to understand. You just cannot do that. So, you know, it's insane to me, and I feel doing what I'm doing as well, I'm also being a good role model for young Black young Black entrepreneurs, young Black people, you know, because I feel that when I was growing up, there was not much people that was doing the things that I was doing. You know, had an inspiration to run your own business because you're always told you had to go and get a proper job. You know, to me, what is a proper job? Because a 9 to 5 to me is like your brain capacity is just going to just burn into the ground, and that's not normal for me. And I've never, like, just school hours in general never ever worked for me neither. So I just knew that I had to be my own boss. I had to do what I had to do that works for me. But I do find that being a young Black woman out here, I have a big duty to be a good role model. You know, I want to be able to inspire young Black women and young Black men, you know, to say that, you know, you could go out there, you know, there's people out there that will help us from all different backgrounds as well. And it's literally taking away that context of I have to always go to my own people to get help. No, it's just not the case. You know, there's so many different people that can help you in the world today. And I don't want to be that person that young people say, do you know what, she's made it. I can use that as an example or something I can do, and my daughter's watching at the end of the day. So I just wanted to know that do everything that you can, you know, that makes you happy. You have to work on something that makes you happy. It doesn't make sense going to a job that you're unhappy in. And I can say that I'm probably a small percentage of the people that can actually say they're using their degree in a job that they actually love doing, you know. And to me, when I actually got involved with the whole fitness thing and all my degree and my qualifications all fell into it, like me as a whole, I felt like I blossomed as a person because I can use everything that I know now, the actual skills that were taught to me properly, and you can see them transferred onto other people as well. So yeah, Black History Month, I just think it's about embracing yourself as an individual, teach if you have to, you know, speak on the things that people don't know, you know, and take away the emotion away from it. And then once you take the emotion away from what you're talking about, you know, people will listen, you know, don't come with anger, you know. I think it's all about deliverance as well. There's a lot of pain, and there's a lot of hurt, and then there's a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to history. You know, I just think we need to just take away the emotion at that point.
I'm kind of annoyed it's ending because I have like 100,000 comments.
I think we'll have to do another talk with you.
Yes,
Krystal.
I would say that.
You're amazing. I'm really glad that we got to meet and like this, and I hope we can meet in person very soon because you have wonderful energy and I love what you're doing. Please keep doing what you're doing. And I'm glad we're kind of in a community together now. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll be glad to do another one and talk something.
Oh, I could just feel like we could talk for a few hours here.
Yeah,
so.
easily.
Yeah.
Selfishly, I'm going to ask you because Nick will say, how do people get in touch with you, right?
Yeah.
He has a general question because I want to take one of your dance classes. Yeah, is that possible?
You can either go via my Facebook page, which is at Kyrstal Fit Space, or you go on my Instagram page, which is Kyrstal_Fit Space. You can DM me on one of those. My contact number is actually on my Facebook, so you can give me a message on WhatsApp me, whatever. Like literally, I have every line of contact.
Yeah.
That way, so that no one will feel like they're unheard, you know. So just drop me a message and I'll reach out.
Do you want to email me all those links and I'll put them on the Facebook page that we were just coming off of now?
All right, then no problem. I'll do that.
Thank you so much, Krystal.
This was glorious. Thank you
for
your presence.
I really enjoy this. I really enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to the What's On in Elephant Castle Facebook page. Don't forget to join us on Thursday for our workshop at 11 a.m. on widening our circles. Thanks, everybody. See you later.
Bye.